What's up, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today I am in my 2020 Genesis G70 with the 3.3 V6 twin turbo. I want to talk about what I think are the 5 best first mods that you should do if you're purchasing either a Genesis G70 or a Kia Stinger. So for those that don't know, the Kia Stinger and the Genesis G70 that you see here share a same platform with the 3.3 V6 twin turbo, and obviously a lot of the mods will transfer over to either car. So number one, what I think is, if you're talking performance, the best mod you can do, I'm going to pop the hood and show you right here. I would say it's this little guy right here. This is the JB4 piggyback unit. That is a piggyback tune. It is not a full ECU tune, so you're not swapping out your ECU. It basically is sending an interruption from the signal from the ECU and saying, hey, make more boost, make more power. So the benefits of that are obviously that it's not as traceable, it's easily removable. You can see that there's some wiring that goes through here, goes through the other side, and then it is funneled through the wheel well as well. But besides that, you can remove it in 10 to 15 minutes and reinstall it with no problem. There is always a lot of debate about piggyback tunes versus a full ECU tune. I'm not even going to lie to you, every time, typically a full ECU tune will be better. Now for number one, I would recommend some type of tune. It's pretty much an easy 100 horsepower gain, close to 100 torque. So number two, one of the things I really didn't like about this car, buying it new, the stance. The gap that we all hate in the wheel well was terrible. It was about double what you see here. I mean, it was just awful. Really didn't enjoy that. I don't think most car enthusiasts do. So that was one of the first things I decided to take care of. I went with ARC's GTS springs and 20 millimeter spacers. I'm just going to get a shot of how this sits. It is basically perfectly flush, which is of course another thing that we're all kind of chasing. And in terms of ride quality, did not reduce the ride quality at all. If you look at reviews about the G70 and Kia Stinger, one of the things that a lot of guys say about it is that it's a very smooth driving car. So I didn't really want to interrupt that. It is a pretty luxurious car, especially when you get the G70 with all the features that it has. So really nothing changed. The car's tighter in sport, tighter all around. And the reason I didn't go with coilovers is mainly because of the adaptive suspension. So when you do coilovers on this car, it will cause an error, and these manufacturers that sell these coilovers will then sell you a error canceller, for anything from $250 to $300 extra. So you're looking about $1,400, $1,500 for coilovers, which isn't really a problem, but for my daily driver, didn't really see it as worth it. So that for me is number two. Now number three, if you want to tune your car for the 3.3, you will need to upgrade the spark plugs. This is something that I think I see every single day in the owner groups. Somebody comes on and says, hey, I have X and X tune and I'm getting a misfire, I'm getting some type of limp mode, I'm getting something like that. 9 times out of 10, they have not upgraded their spark plugs like the manufacturers and the tuners recommend. So you need to go ahead and do that. I personally went with Denso plugs, which was offered by Burger Tuning, who sells the JB4 unit, but a lot of people recommend HKS. They'll last longer, and if you're not aware, the spark plug job on a 3.3 is not fun. It's not something you want to be doing too often, so I would say that is a mistake that I made, and I'm probably going to pay for, I don't know, let's say in another 5,000 to 10,000 miles. So if you can avoid that, go ahead and do that. I would go with HKS first, but you will need to get the plugs. So number three is plugs. So just to recap, we've talked about number one, I recommend the JB4 tune or the lap 3. Number two, we talked about the lowering springs and spacers. And then number three, we have the spark plugs. Number four for me, I think some of you guys might actually prioritize over my first three. But this car is deadly quiet, stock. Don't ask me why. It's supposed to be a sporty car. Besides the artificial sound that it wants to feed you through the radio, it is just dead quiet. I mean, there's just nothing coming from this car. So Whether you're doing it for performance or because you want to actually hear some feedback from your car, I would definitely recommend doing the exhaust. I think one of the most popular mods that people do with their exhaust starting out on this car is the muffler delete, typically an axle back muffler delete. I did start with that to see what it would do. I added 2 high flow resonators because I was warned of the drone from the muffler delete. That worked great. It sounded great. There was no drone, but it really wasn't loud enough. I ended up going back, doing a stainless steel mid-pipe, which if you guys want the pictures of that or more specifications, just send me a message or leave a comment, and I'll drop that for you. That was a great move. That actually removed any drone that the axle back muffler delete had, and then on top of that, it added a little bit more sound. I still wasn't happy though. The more that I read into these cars, the downpipes are very restrictive. The secondary and primary cats are very restrictive. So I went ahead and ordered arc secondary delete. So what you'll have by the time I'm done is basically stock primary to arc secondary delete to the stainless steel mid pipe to the axle back muffler delete, and then out eventually quad tips instead of these horrible oval tips. So for me, that's number 4. And since I know everybody will be curious, I'm going to go ahead and do a little sound clip real quick. So that was number 4 for me. I hope you guys enjoyed that. You can see that the exhaust really opens up the car. It sounds much more sporty, really what the car should have sounded like from factory. So again, number 4 for me is the exhaust. If you want any details on how I did mine, just leave a comment or message us directly and I will get that to you. So for number 5, I consider this more opinion based. It's not really based on performance metrics or aesthetic metrics that you might agree with, but a couple of months ago I was approached by a company called Velocitech. What Velocitech does, I'm going to just zoom in right here so you can see, they do intake snorkels, which you see here and you see there, for a multitude of different platforms. Originally their intake snorkels did not come with LEDs. Now they have lined them with diode dynamic LEDs. So if you check some of my other videos on this channel, you'll see that you can literally change to any color on the color spectrum. While you're driving, while you're stationary, doesn't matter. So I personally prefer more of a OEM plus look when I modify cars. I didn't really have them in my sights as a mod I was going to buy, but they reached out to me. They needed a G70 test car, and I gotta say, since I've had it, I've had 1, a ton of compliments, 2, I've had a lot of fun with the different colors in different scenarios when I'm in different areas at night, and just kind of enjoying the customization options that you get with a mod like that. In terms of performance gains, I mean, I definitely did notice more sound coming from the Burger Motorsports intakes. Other than that, I can't say that it gave me more power. I imagine if I dynoed, you wouldn't see much, but it does logically feel like there is more air coming through there. And let me see if I can get in here. I mean, you can see these basically go straight up into your intake, and they dump right at the end of your aftermarket or stock intakes. So that wraps it up for me, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Again, some of this is opinion-based. Some of this is fact-based. So yeah, let me know, and go ahead and subscribe and like the channel. Thank you.